Good day everyone, I am Mary Joy Flores, the reporter for today. Now, we're going to discuss the curricular modification in basic education during and post-pandemic. Learning outcomes explain curricular changes introduced in basic education to address learning-related problems brought about by the pandemic. Identify the different modes of teaching delivery during and post-pandemic. This statement is related actions taken by the schools to prevent disruption of learning even as classrooms are interrupted. Less is more, avoid inch-deep and mile-wide teaching. I cannot see the trees because of the forest. The statement in the previous slide is suggesting dreaming down curriculum to the most essential for effective learning. When the curriculum is focused on essentials, the inch-deep, mile-wide teaching approach is avoid teachers. Teaches the most essential to a point of mastery task. Less become more. There is less to teach because focus of most essential, and as a sequence, learners master the lesson in this period of COVID-19 crisis. The Department of Education came up with these most essential learning competencies. The COVID-19 has resulted in the schools shut all across the world. Globally, over 1.2 billion children are out of the classroom. As a result, education has changed dramatically, with the distinctive of e-learning, where teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. The most essential learning competencies, or MELCs, is a part of Basic Education Learning Continuity, or BELCP, is the 60% reduction of learning competencies found in the K-12 curriculum guide from 14,171 competencies listed in the K-12 curriculum guide to 5,689 most essential learning competencies, or MELCs. One common problem the teacher met in the overcrowded curriculum. There is so much to cover that then to do mile-wide inch-deep teaching. The reduction of number of competencies may lead to more focused teaching. Teaching should focus on essential. The key to success is doing less, according to the Wall Street Journal 2018. May teaching simple. American executive designer technologies John May, the 2006, say that the first principle of simplicity is reduce. The reduction of learning competencies to the most essential is the thing surely become both teachers and students. So, we're going to discuss the various curriculum delivery modes. Obviously, with the unseen threat called COVID-19 virus is for health, safety, and welfare of all learners, teacher, and personnel. Face-to-face instruction is remote possibility and immediate future until a vaccine is made available. Meanwhile, classes have to go on, show must go on. This time, not the usual brick-and-mortar classroom, the traditional in-classroom setup, but in the learner's home in virtual classroom. Delivery mode is contextualized in DepEd's learning continuity plan. Since in schools and community are differently situated, the choices of learning modality of school will depend on local COVID-19 situations, as well as access in certain learning platforms. The various curriculum delivery modes include online learning, alternative delivery mode, distance learning, homeschooling, and alternative learning system. First is online learning. The term online learning implies that the learner is at a distance from the tutor or instructor, that the learners uses some form of the technology to access learning materials. Online learning or e-learning is very familiar to us because we are doing this one the needs of pandemic. Online learning is we're able to watch asynchronous or synchronous live or recorded lectures on YouTube, on your Google Classroom, or in your Moodle, or in your Facebook groups. So I mentioned asynchronous and synchronous. What are the difference between the two? When we say asynchronous, explain that the instructor and the students are meeting together in live using computer, tablet, or smartphone. It is just like a normal classes, but it is in online. Next, when we say synchronous, so it is online learning that it is okay if they are not together in live, usually using internet, communicate together, the teacher and the students, to give the learning material. Online learning is any form of learning conducted partly over the internet. The DepEd explained that online learning is only one of delivery modes among all others in this new learning environment. The DepEd directed expelled units to determine the most appropriate combination of strategies of learning for every locality. Taking equity concern into consideration, it is wise that is called considerate valid concern related to online learning raised by stakeholders. Most of these concerns are connectivity and accessibility, lack or poor internet connection in the school, access for teachers and students, availability or equipments such as computers, smartphones, and printers for both teachers and students. Second, alternative delivery mode or ADM. It refers to the non-traditional education program recognized by DepEd, which applies flexible learning philosophy and a curricular delivery program that includes formal and informal sources of knowledge and skills. So, it explained that the traditional education program recognized by Department of Education, formal and informal sources, includes like videos and found on YouTube, not only relying on textbook but also other resources. There are two accredited ADMs. First is Modified in School and Off-School Approach, or MISOSA. It meant to address the problem of congestion, meaning to say many students have a shortage of teachers. It was implemented in large classes with more than 50 students in grade 4, 5, and 6. MISOSA is used for self-instructional material or SIMS in the different learning areas, especially now in a time of pandemic. We were able to use the self-instructional materials. Number 2, enhance instructional management by parents, community, and teachers, or e-impact for primary education. This meant to address issues of both access and quality by enabling schools to deliver complete grade 1 to grade 6 despite shortage of teachers in classroom. So, what are the difference between the two? In e-impact, there's involvement of community and the parents. While in the MISOSA, it is very specific to the learners because it is self-instructional material or SEMS. Next is distance learning. It's a method of studying in which lectures are conducted by using internet in the different online meeting application. There are two types of distance learning. First is modular, second is online learning. So, this is the option for students so may not be physically at school. Distance learning modes of education include delivery of educational content online, digitally, or through radio or television. There used to be school on the air. In this COVID-19 crisis, The Philippine government offers government-run television and radio station as a platform for delivery lessons. Next is homeschooling. Is another flexible learning option recognized by DepEd. In fact, this is not only stopgap solution in times of crisis. Based on policy guidelines released by DepEd, homeschooling provides learners with access of formal education when staying in and out of school environment. It is meant for learners in unique circumstances such as illness, frequently travel, special education needs, and other similar contexts. So, homeschooling is modality that the parents are the one who teach their children using the learning materials, but it is important to have assessment before teaching your child. We need to communicate to the school if you are qualified in homeschooling. It also explained that authorized guardian, parents, or tutors takes place for teachers as a learning facilitator and are given flexibility in learning delivery, scheduling, assessment, and correction of learning resource. To enroll children in is homeschooling program, parents or guardians should do so through a private, through a public school that had been given a permit to for all, a school program, or through homeschool provider, which are learning centers or institute that provide homeschooling, because homeschooling is not the same as home-based schooling. It is much more think new in the home as setting of schooling. Plus is alternative learning system is a parallel learning system in the Philippines that provides a practical option to existing formal instruction. It is offered for students who out of school youth or the students who stop in schooling or late in studying, and that's why his or her age longer to the particular age in the specific grade level. When one does have or cannot access formal education in school, ALS is alternate or substitute. Alternative learning system includes both formal and informal sources of knowledge and skills. There are two major programs on alternative learning system by being implemented by Department of Education through the Bureau. The alternative learning system, one is basic literacy program, other one is continuity education program accreditation and equivalency, or A and E. Both programs are modular and flexible. This means that learning can take place anytime and any place, depending on the convenience and availability of learners. Before the pandemic, they usually have classes on Monday or depending on what schedule they have. They are also flexible in terms of scheduling as long as all learners and the teachers agree with that time.